All right. Good morning to you. I need to start. This is not a good way to start either. When you start by saying, I'm sorry, uh, that doesn't install a whole lot of confidence, but I am. I made a mistake. I set my timer for the show, which is what it is here on Facebook. We're also on YouTube, but I set it and then I hit the wrong button and now it started. So instead of starting at 9:40, we're starting a little bit earlier this morning. So I apologize. We'll catch up for those folks who were waiting for that specific time. Anyway, I'm Dan Gresham. Welcome into my house this morning. Hope your day is getting off to a good start. We always like to think of this. It's kind of a coffee break. Take time, get you a cup of coffee this morning. We're not going to be here forever, just going to spend a few minutes. Again, we go a little bit longer on these because it's a little bit more casual. We're not trying to present a newscast. We're just kind of talking about the topics of the day and things that are happening. It is a Facebook Live, so you can comment on it just like you would any other Facebook post. Bottom of the page, you have something you want to say, good morning, where you're watching from, a concern that you might have, share it with me. I can share it with everyone. Let's see if I can show that real quick, how we make that work. And the other thing is, this is all me. I am the director of the show. So I'm having to do software at the same time, kind of multitasking, which sometimes works, sometimes not so much. Hi, Carlene. Good to see you this morning. Esther is up. Cynthia's up. Kenny's up. Donna, good morning. Jeanette, always. I hope this hurricane doesn't come towards Houston. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. Kimberly, good morning to you. Thanks for taking the time. Just post up this morning. Tell us where you're watching from. Again, what's a concern? What's going on? What do you want to see things? How would you like to see things play out in certain stories? We do the best that we can to try to do that. All right. So this is the question again, that it never fails. As soon as somebody mentions there's something in the Gulf and we talk about it, then it becomes this, anxiety event. Let me first tell you what should be the way that we handle this is that at this point, and I'll go ahead and put it up on the screen for you, because if you go to kfdm.com and you go to the very first page, you're going to see watching the tropics, right? That's going to pop out. And when that pops up, you can go in and you can look, you can follow this, you can read what's going on. At this point, this is simply a tropical wave. All right, a tropical wave. It is a cluster of storms that happens to be located in a place that might be favorable for development, meaning the creation of a low pressure. And if you have been in the area anytime at all, of course, some people are probably a lot more anxious now. I'm telling you right now, and I think anybody who's been here will agree with me. 10 years ago, if we had talked 15 years ago, it would have been a very casual conversation. We would have just said, there's a wave in the Gulf, we're going to watch it. And that would have been it. But when you have events that affect people's lives, flood their homes, cause them damage, discomfort, and make people uncomfortable, then obviously it raises their attention level. And that's where we're at. And that's where we should be. Where we're at now is at the talking stage. No action required. You don't have to do anything. You simply have to watch what's going on. Pay attention. It's just that time of the year, because there are too many variables in play here when you talk to the meteorologist to really come to any kind of conclusion. Could this head towards the Gulf? Sure, it could. Could it go into Mexico? Yes, it could. Again, we're just going to have to give it some time. Let the models play out. They'll take all the variables into consideration, and then we can start talking. And if we get to the point that it requires more than conversation, obviously, we'll be the first to let you know. That's what we do. That's what we've done for years. We have some of the best in the business. We have, if not the best, I don't know, Greg Bostwick, I don't know anybody in the Gulf of Mexico, the southern half of the United States, that's probably tracked more tropical development than he has. 40 years worth of watching it. So we'll put his expertise to work for you. But at this point, you're going to hear a lot of conjecture. You're going to hear a lot of amateur meteorologists telling you this is where it's going and this is what you need to do. Take it with a grain of salt. Again, understand we are talking and watching. We are not taking action. It's still too early. But that being said, you should have had an action plan in place before hurricane season started. And it might be, hey, yeah, my action plan is I'm grabbing the kids, the dog, and I'm getting out of town. Okay, good action plan. Your action plan may be more detailed. You might be saying, well, if I have a storm anytime during this season, this is what we're going to do. The generator is this, and, the kids are going to come here and that's good too. But an action plan is good to have, period. If you got a go bag, that's good to have, before the season ever starts. You want to have your important papers, you want to know your insurance facts. That's all the time. And then when we have an event, you're ready. And at this point, we do not have an event. What we have is a disturbance of interest. Keep your wits about you. We'll watch this way too early. Way too early. Okay. I'm just going to leave it at that and promise you that over the course of the next 3 days, nobody's going to give you more information than we are at KFDM and Fox 4, or that I am here from Facebook, because I will be here on a daily basis. We'll update what's going on. We'll keep you apprised of the situation. All right. That is a promise. All right. So that's the number one thing that's on everybody's minds this morning. So let's talk about some other things that you may have missed this morning if you didn't get up in time for the morning show. One is that we're having some issues at some schools. Burkeville ISD, the entire school district, is closed down for a week. They closed down today. They will not open again until next Wednesday, 2nd of September. Why? COVID exposures. And this is not just about teachers. Students, that's part of the problem. The other issue is teachers. So that's why you're seeing this. Beaumont has one school, King is closed. They've gone to mask mandate. Now we're also hearing from parents in Viter expressing concern about the increasing number of cases they're seeing in their district, to the point that the superintendent, Dr. Kilgo, felt like it was important that he addressed those concerns, and he did. Sent out a letter, talked about the guidance moving forward. Also said, we're going to be very frank and try to be as transparent as we can. They're not mandating masks, but they're certainly strongly encouraging people to use them. But I also wanted to bring this out. We talk about students and teachers, but staff is also going to be in play because they're exposed. And here you go. Dr. Kilgore asked parents to be patient with the Viter Independent School District because bus driver shortage is causing problems. They're running behind. Part of the problem is an issue all across the country, finding people who want to drive a school bus. And then you add into that having drivers who test positive, and you've got a recipe for a real problem. And that's what we're seeing in some parts of the country. Now, on that same vein, we're already seeing issues at the Jefferson County Correctional Facility, because unlike a school where you say, oh, we've got 8 teachers out, we cannot teach with 8 teachers, no substitutes, we're going to close down school today. We're going to do a deep cleaning and we'll come back, in a week. Can't do that with a jail, obviously with a lockup. But their problem is even more multidimensional because we've stopped doing jury trials, and TDJC is not taking any more prisoners into the state system. at this point. Now, they may in the future, but they are not right now. So you have max capacity pretty much. And then the third issue is segregation. You can't put everyone together. You can't put a 17-year-old by state law into general population. At least that's the way I understand it. So they have a 48-bed dormitory that's housing 6 17-year-olds right now, because they have to. But you also have 700 pretrial felony suspects who are waiting for a trial. It's not going to happen. And you have 200 inmates waiting to be sent to state prisons. It's not going to happen anytime soon. So creating a bit of a crisis at your county jail. Also this morning, while we're talking of items of interest, don't know if you saw this, but on a much lighter note, the folks from the Battleship Texas, it's a foundation that runs the battleship, which has been parked over by San Jacinto Monument for my lifetime. I can remember as a young boy, and I'm sure many of you do too, going with your parents and, sitting in the gunnery chair on, the deck of the battleship, going over to the San Jacinto Monument. Oh, let's go and so now they're looking for a new home. They've had issues. Let's be honest. They've had lots of issues there at San Jacinto, at the monument. They've had corrosion issues. They had an issue where the Battleship Texas actually sank, was sitting in mud. So they've had to overcome some major obstacles over the course of the last several years. And now they're looking for a new home. They're saying they have talked to Corpus Christi. They've talked to, I'm not going to get into all the other cities, but apparently Beaumont was on their list of possible cities. What do you think? Do you think that having the Battleship Texas would be a positive, if all things considered, if the taxpayers didn't have to put a disproportionate amount of what it would take to get the Battleship Texas on the Neches River, downtown, near City Hall? Positive or negative? Would you think it would be good for the city? Or would you think that possibly, because it is the Battleship Texas, it's not exactly something a lot. I mean, you ask an 18-year-old, what is the Battleship Texas? And they would probably look at you like, is that the board game Battleship? Because let's face it, it is not the kind of tourist attraction that many young people and or people probably under the age of 50 may find very attractive. It's not a water slide. It's not a water park. It's about, but at the same time, it could be something that would be iconic, a landmark, something that might attract people downtown. Post up, let me know. All you have to do is go to the comments at the bottom of the post here and let me know what you think. Good idea, bad idea. The Battleship Texas, should they expend the energy to talk about the possibility of that coming here? All right. The other one last thing this morning, I just want to send this out. Again, my condolences this morning to the family of Roberto Flores. And this is a man I wrote on their Facebook page because I felt compelled. This is a man that I spoke with many, 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 many times over the course of the last 40 years. He was one of the first community activists I ever came in touch with as a young reporter in Southeast Texas. At the time, he was heading up LULAC. He was fighting the good fight, trying to talk about parks for all people in Beaumont, no matter, what segment of the population you came from or what part of the community you came from. And Roberto Flores passed yesterday. And again, my condolences going out to his family. I really think that was a man with certainly a voice, and he used it. He was the kind of community activist that, was considerate of other people and other people's needs and what was going on. So he will be missed. You could agree or disagree with his policies or his concerns or his interest, but he was still fair. And that's all you can ask. As somebody who wants to get both sides of the story, I always appreciated the fact that he presented his points, did them logically, and gave you something to go and share with other people so that you could at least describe to them what it is, what his vision was, or what it was that he was asking. So again, to his family, our thoughts go out to you this morning. All right. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time this morning. It's pretty much it. We've done 15 minutes or so. I can go on, you know me, endless, but I don't want to do that. I just want to take a couple of minutes, get you up to speed on what's going on. You do the rest of the heavy lifting. You can go and read all the numbers. I will tell you, once again, COVID numbers across the 9-county area that includes Jefferson and all the surrounding areas are really high. We're at better than 31% of all beds in Southeast Texas, and that 9-county area are occupied by people who have tested positive with COVID. It's as high as I can remember it being, period. Some people are going to say it's the highest it's been in the surge. I think it's as high as it's been since the pandemic started. The best I can recollect anyway. All right, before we go, a couple more comments this morning. Let's see what we can do. Kimberly, good morning to you. Also, David Peru says, hope storms stay away. Amen to that one. Don't we all? Wendella, good morning from Houston. Yep, there's your storm update. Hopefully you caught it. Reminder too, you can go to kfdm.com anytime, 24/7. The information never goes away. It's always there. And our meteorologists are always, constantly updating what's going on. All right. So go take a look. They'll be, in fact, Chad will be back, at noon today. He'll do it then. Tammy, good morning to you. Also, Glenda, good morning to you. Robin, good morning. Lily, good morning. Everybody's waking up. I'm sure they've been up for a while. Jean says, everybody wear a mask. Also, Stephen's with us this morning. Sybil is here. Chason, good morning. Haven't seen your name for a while. It's good to see you up with us this morning. David Peru says he's in favor of the battleship coming to Beaumont. Post up this morning. Again, let me know what you're thinking about that or anything else. You got any other concerns you want to express? This is a place you can do it. I'll bring it back. I can take it to the newsroom. I can bring it up for discussion, and we can certainly talk about it here on the At Home Update. Well, I'm going to end it this way. I'm going to remind you, as always, there are several ways to follow what's going on. It doesn't ever get more important than it does when we start talking about tropical activity. And I'm going to end again by saying, this is not a time of action. This is a time of watching. Then we'll just, start to discern and figure out what's happening, if this is really even going to be a threat to Southeast Texas. And if so, what would the timeline be? Which makes it all the more important that you check out the newscast, the Facebook page at KFDM. You can follow me on Twitter, YouTube. And of course, as I mentioned, we'll be back here trying to do it on a daily basis. The morning show, 4.5 hours every day, people, 4.5 hours. We're live and local. You can't get it anyplace else. We're on from 4:30 until 7 on KFDM, 7 to 9 on Fox 4. You have a lot of experienced people on the show. We've been there, done that probably more times than you can imagine. I'm talking about tropical storms, hurricanes, you name it, just a heavy downpour. So rely on the people that have the experience to give you the information. That's your best bet for sure. Not somebody who suddenly pops up on social media that thinks that, oh, I can read this. I'm a map guy. I'm going to do your forecasting for you. Why would you do that when you can get the experience of somebody like Greg Bostwick or Chad Samwell? All right. That being said, again, done is done. I'm out of here. I will see you back bright and early tomorrow morning. Don't forget, noon, 5:36, 9, 10. All of those will contain updates, as will the websites and the apps as well. You go out and make it a terrific day. We'll talk again soon.